Hey guys, welcome to my video. In this video, I want to talk about the second half of the Pi Network white paper. This video is going to finish up going over the Pi Network white paper, and I'm going to talk about things like the economic model, the utility, and also the governance of the project. In my first video, I went over the problems of first generation cryptocurrencies, and that they were pretty much too inaccessible for the average person, and also too bulky to be a medium of exchange. On the other hand, we also talked about Pi and how it aimed to solve these issues. The Pi network operates on what we call the Stellar Consensus Protocol, and it wants to be like cash. And the beauty of the Pi network is that anyone can mine Pi cryptocurrencies from your phone, and it runs on a distributed ledger. This means that the network is completely decentralized and also is operated by very smart people who are Stanford PhDs. The Pi network itself was created by a bunch of Stanford PhDs, with the company estimated to be worth over $80 million. I got this calculation from court documents about the company. In February of 2020, the Pi network was already estimated to be worth around $20 million by private investors. This was when the project only had around 3 million active users. Today, you can say that this project is much more bigger than it was before, and it's more than 4 times the size of what it was back in 2020. And what I did here was simply multiply the $20 million valuation by 4. Now take this calculation with a grain of salt, because it might be more or less than $80 million, but I think this is a pretty good way of viewing the project and also estimating its value. If you want to sign up for the Pi network, make sure to use the invitation code MAGICTUNA. Just know that the network doesn't really take any money from you. It doesn't steal your data, and mining Pi is as simple as clicking a button every 24 hours. Today, I want to investigate the second half of the Pi network white paper. I want to talk about the economic model, its utility, and also the governance of Pi. I think this is a pretty interesting video for anybody who wants to learn more about the Pi network. For starters, the Pi network is designed to be a combination of both Stellar and also Bitcoin. And the goal of the coin is to build a simple model that distributes coin in a fair way, and also in consideration of scarcity and also the voice of the community. We can see here that the Pi network is designed to follow a couple of requirements. It wants to be simple, it wants to be fair, scarce, and also it wants to listen to the community. And based on these requirements, there's really 3 main ways that people have been able to earn Pi. The first way is really for the average person like you and I. In other words, whenever you sign on to the project, a fixed supply of coin is allocated to you, and that coin is later distributed into your wallet based on how much you contribute to the network. In other words, the network wants to get your attention and keep your attention, and it also wants to know that you're a real person, because if you're not a real person, then the coins are destroyed. Another way that members can earn Pi is through referrals. Whenever you refer someone else to the Pi network, a fixed supply of Pi coins is created for both parties. And these coins are distributed based on how active you are in mining Pi. The point of a referral system is basically to help the network grow. It's much easier to use referral marketing nowadays to promote a project. You can think about this similar to other platforms like Weibo or even Robinhood. Every time you refer somebody, the referrer and also the person who's being referred will receive some sort of reward. I'll talk more about the pros and cons of this system in my next video, but it does have its limitations as well. In the case of the Pi network, this reward won't come for a very long time. The truth of the matter is you won't be able to earn any coins until 2022 when the coins are officially released. Either way, I think this is a very fair system because no one here is really losing anything. Instead, both members are able to draw upon this additional pool of coins. And if you really think about it, this is a much fairer system than what Bitcoin does, because most of Bitcoin is earned by a very small percentage of the population. And the last way coins are mined on the network is actually by the developers. Every time someone else joins the network, the developers actually get a cut of this network. The network will mint new coins for the developers as the network grows. And this means that the developers will have 25% of all Pi coins by the end of this project. One thing to know about this system is that it really tries to prevent inequality, but at the same time tries to reward and incentivize people to promote the network. Earlier adopters of this project were able to mine Pi coins at a much faster rate than we're able to mine today. But one thing you have to keep in mind that there really wasn't that many of them. This is because back then, no one really heard about this project, and if you really think about it, they were pretty much fighting for their survivals back then. And you can kind of take a look at this from the official documents or some of the court documents released because of a lawsuit against Pi. You can see here that the Pi network had a lot of trouble with cash and they needed to raise a lot of money fast. Today we know that the problem was solved because the project is still very alive. And if you're confused right now, we know all of this because of a lawsuit filed by Vince, one of the founding members of the Pi network. The lawsuit was based on personal conflicts between the founding members. And because of this, a lot of private information were pretty much leaked to the public. If you want to learn more about the lawsuit, make sure to check out my other video about this topic. And going back to what I talked about earlier, this means that there weren't a lot of people mining at these extraordinary rates. And other than this, it also might seem unfair that people who promote this project also earn a massive amount of pie. This means that YouTubers, celebrities, and also social media influencers are likely to have more pie than the average person. But keep in mind that this again is a very small number of people. On YouTube, there might be 4 other people other than myself who talks about the Pi network. Furthermore, those without a social media platform can still share the code with friends and family. Either way, the network will give you less coins over time, so make sure to keep mining and earning Pi. Basically, what we see here is that the network takes qualities of both Bitcoin and also Stellar and gives an element of scarcity. This means that the coin is more accessible to anybody because all you need is a cell phone or a laptop. The next thing I want to talk about is to examine the utility of Pi coins. What is this project really trying to do? And what could Pi potentially be used for? The authors of this project do give us some idea of what they want to do. The goal of this project is really for the first time to reward the end users or the holders of Pi. The network tries to level the playing field by allowing its members to pool their collective resources so they can get a share of the value that they created. The first thing I want to mention is that the network creates a public trust graph for the user. This works like a native and also automatic rating system, much like you would see on eBay or also Amazon. In addition to this, the network also talks about a marketplace. In this network, you're going to be able to use Pi to promote services and also goods. Think about this like eBay, but with only Pi coins. You can sell things that you don't want on the platform, and you can sell services like accounting, web design, programming, and you can even put up your apartment for rent. The next thing I want to talk about is that Pi could potentially be used like a microphone. And what I mean by this is try to imagine an optional Instagram where you can pay Pi for your views. This is likely going to be an additional room on the Pi network app, and those who are able to wager the most Pi are able to make announcements on the app. This is great news for small business owners and other people who want to get the message across, and it might even be for research purposes, and who really knows. Other than this, you might also be able to earn additional Pi from corporations. Corporations are going to have to buy Pi from us to be able to sell their services and products. This means that once in a while you might see a corporate post about a product or service. And keep in mind that this is going to be entirely optional for the users, so if you want to see these posts and earn some Pi, you can. I think all of this really makes the Pi coins extremely valuable. It has a legit use case on the internet, and people are going to be able to use it to promote their products, services, or even to just get attention from other people. The last way that the Pi network might be used is through a decentralized app store. I think this is such an interesting concept because it means that the app store will be built on top of the Pi network, and you're going to be able to build mobile games on top of a virtual currency. You're going to be able to create social media platforms like YouTube, and you're also going to be able to create investing apps like Robinhood. The only difference now is that these platforms will be fully decentralized, and you're going to be able to make transactions using Pi. I think the success of this platform really depends on what the users can imagine. This is because the original developers of this project pretty much has no control over the system once the Pi network is officially released. The network is fully decentralized, and all these apps and all these use cases are really going to be determined by the user like us. I think this really presents an interesting opportunity for people like us. Imagine being the first person to create a successful YouTube app on the Pi network. This could potentially mean a lot of reward for the end user, and you can also charge companies Pi coins to be able to advertise on the network. Basically, if you can create a decent platform on top of the Pi network, you can potentially leave as a millionaire in the process. The next section of the Pi network talks about the governance. This talks about how the network's protocol might change over time. Before the network hit 5 million users, the network ran a provisional government. This is when the developers had a big role guiding the project. They pretty much listened to the members for suggestions and comments, but nevertheless the developers here took an active role at guiding the network. But when the network finally hit over 5 million users, a community was formed to monitor this network. This is a series of formal and also informal conversations about Pi, and a committee was formed for proposing suggestions from and to the wider community. The last part about the Pi network white paper is really a deployment plan. The first phase of this project included developing a decentralized system and how it will function later on. This is when the Pi network was first designed, distributed, and the trust graph was perfected. The next phase of the project is where we are today. This is when testnet is introduced and when users like us can test the network out for themselves. What I can see here is that the network is moving at lightning speeds. The final stage of this project is when mainnet or the real blockchain is released. Once this stage of the project happens, the network will be completely decentralized. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation today about the remaining parts of the Pi network white paper. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to use some of the offer codes below at no cost to you. I'll make sure to produce future videos about the Pi network later on. And thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys again next time.